All right, in Chinese, to say hello is ni hao. So everybody say ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao. Okay, so you guys tested your multiple intelligences the other day, so today is going to be fantastic for those of you who are musical learners, which I think that ranks pretty high on most of your category lists. So, musical learners are going to have a great time with this. It's something new, something different, and it's all about sound and rhythm and hearing and pronunciation. So, first thing I'm going to take a look at is this word on the board. So, anybody want to take a guess how we pronounce that word?
Gotti.
It looks like gotti, yes? What if I were to tell you that word was fish? What if I could prove it to you?
You're so crazy.
You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the GH, as in the sound in enough. Enough. So you get the GH, sounds like a, yeah. The O, as in women, which is a I sound, and the TI, as in nation. The-ish, fish. GHOTI spells fish.
That's how you say it.
Sounds out of regular words.
Sure. Now, if you are a person who has to learn English, I don't know if you know anyone who's not a native English speaker. English is a particularly difficult language to learn because of some of our word combinations like this. GH, when we look at it in the beginning of the word, sounds like a G to us, but to somebody else who may have just learned the word enough, maybe to them it sounds like an F. So, English is not the easiest of languages either, as non-English speakers will tell us, but Chinese is a whole different ball game. So what I'm going to teach you today is some basics of the Chinese language so that when you read it, when you see it, when you speak it, when you order Chinese food, you can do it correctly and make people smile. Most important. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, first of all, is the idea of translating a language that is not written in English into English letters, which we talked about with Arabic, if you remember. So do you remember what that is called when you have to take...
Transliteration.
It's transliteration. So if you don't remember that, I would write it down. Transliteration. So trans as in transform, translate, trans to change, literation, wording. So we are actually taking a language that is mainly symbols and characters, and we are converting it to spoken English. So for example, the hello greeting that I gave you this morning, ni hao, is not written ni hao. Although if I wanted you to understand it, that's how I would write it. But it's actually written in calligraphy. Okay? Now, something else about calligraphy that you need to know is that calligraphy is also very symbolic. It's an art form, and so you start to master it at an early age, and it takes people years and years and years to learn all the characters for all the different words. As an example of that, we have the symbol for emperor. And the symbol for emperor looks like this. And what it's supposed to be is the one person that actually connects the heavens and the earth.
Oh, I get it.
So it's all symbolic, so you may want to write that down too. Emperor. If we look at the map, we can see that China is an enormous place. Yes? So you're going to have several different language groups. Mandarin is going to be spoken primarily by people over here, Beijing, this sort of area. You're going to get different groups of people living in different regions of the country, and each group is going to have their own unique gifts. So for example, if we were to come out to the western part of China, out towards the Stans, you're going to end up with a group called the Uyghurs. The Uyghurs speak their own language, Uyghur, and they are actually Chinese Muslims. Very different, very ethnically unique. They don't believe that they are like people from Beijing, and people from Beijing do not believe that they are like them. So two different groups. Down here you end up with Tibetan. Tibetan is its own language. They are their own ethnic group of people with their own ethnic customs. So very, very different. Taiwan, its own little island, which China claims, but Taiwan claims to be Taiwanese. And they don't believe that they are a part of mainland China. So what we're going to find today is this group here in the middle we're going to call the Han Chinese. This is Middle China. This is what most Chinese people believe to be the true China, is this part, Central China, where the Han Chinese live. Now lately, the Chinese government has been moving the Han Chinese out to these different areas, and that creates other implications that we'll discuss later. is I'm going to teach you a little bit about pronunciation so that we can make it work. Now, there are two different types of pronunciation. Remember when we looked at Arabic, we said that if you were going to spell the word Muslim in Arabic, it's one way, and if you spelled it in English, traditionally now we spell it M-U-S-L-I-M, but there were people before us who spelled it M-O-S-L-E-M. Yep, Muslim instead of Muslim. Why did we say that there were two different spellings? Europeans, when they came through, remember when you translate it from whatever the native language is into whatever English version you're using, people have accents and it's spoken differently, so it doesn't sound necessarily the same. So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about some basic Chinese pronunciation. The sounds that we're going to be talking about here, this is going to be what we call the Wade-Giles translation. Just feeling it. There is also pinyin, which is what things are moving towards now, more than the Wade-Giles, but the Wade-Giles is the one we're going to focus on. When we look at most of the textbooks in our writing, it has been written in Wade-Giles translation, but it's moving towards a more correct pinyin version, which was kind of like the Muslim would have been the Wade-Giles versus Muslim, which would have been the pinyin, if you can make. So, here we go. We're going with Wade-Giles translations here. So, QI, everybody's seen this already when you did your notes, yes? Mm-hmm. And you all were trying to pronounce it any number of different ways. I can tell you that QI, unequivocally, sounds like a CH. QI sounds like a CH, which makes this word Chin. Good. So, and it also makes the dynasty we're looking at the Qing. Very good. Okay. X sounds like SH, which makes this sound like Shia or She. Shia or She. Good. Okay. Everybody got that so far?
Yes.
CH sounds like J.
Jiao.
Jiao. T, and this is the kicker, this one's going to kill you. T sounds like D. So it's Dao or